What's going on, everyone? I'm Encore. This is Tomorrow Never Comes, and this video is all about, do we need the big bad money? You know, the quote-unquote evil money, the money that's never trusted, the institutions that we don't trust and maybe we're trying to get away from. That's the question, and in particular, how it applies to the crypto market. Okay, so it's always interesting, and myself, I would throw in there, especially in the beginning when I first started, is, you know, when you get ingrained to the crypto space, you say, we're trying to get away from, you know, financial institutions. We're trying to get away from the way markets have been manipulated in the stock market, all of that, right? And so you dive into Bitcoin and ETH and other things, but mainly Bitcoin. And then once you get these big institutions to come in or release some media that they're in, for example, BlackRock and Coinbase, everyone goes crazy and says, oh my God, BlackRock's coming in, they're $10 trillion asset manager, largest in the world, gives massive, not just credibility to Bitcoin, but in terms of opening a doorway for other institutions to acquire Bitcoin or at least have an interest and then do something with that interest. BlackRock does that. So it's always funny to me how that kind of works out. And I felt the same way. But now, as I'm more into it, I understand that big money is required to come in order for us to see the prices that everyone always talks about, the 320,000 Bitcoin, the 1 million Bitcoin, the 10 million Bitcoin, all those, right? And maybe you fall somewhere in between. You don't think it's going to hit 10 million. You don't think it's going to hit 1 million. But we were almost at 100K, right? We hit 69,000, so just shy of 70,000 US. And what was our market cap then? The market cap for Bitcoin was around $1 trillion, just crossed it. Right now we're sitting at 430 billion. Now that sounds like a big number. Of course it does, but not when you compare it to the rest of these assets. Gold is about 12 trillion. Equities markets, like, you know, in the US alone, I believe is 46 trillion. You've got the bond market, which is 120 trillion. You've got real estate, which is 320 plus trillion dollars. It's just under 4 trillion in the US alone real estate market. These are massive numbers. Gold and Bitcoin is sitting here at 430 billion. I mean, I believe silver is around 1.5 trillion in market cap, somewhere around there. Okay, that's silver. We don't even talk about silver. We say gold and Bitcoin being the equivalent. So think about that for a second. 430 billion versus 12 trillion. There's a huge difference in valuing, you know, the valuation of that asset class. And so that's why you're hearing that the price points of 300,000, 600,000, 1 million, you know, 10 million, because it's with that in mind of what Bitcoin can be if and when it gets to those market caps. Will it get there? At which point will it top out? Who knows? I don't know. But definitely has quite a ceiling. Okay, quite a ceiling. Even if it is just gold, we've got a ways to go, and that's great on the price point. All right. So do we need it? That's the question, right? 100% we need it. You, me, people like us are not going to move the price of Bitcoin to the levels that we want. It's just not going to happen. And I'm talking strictly price point, okay? Obviously the fundamentals are better. The network is stronger. There's a larger network effects to it. All these things and who's adopted it, okay? But these institutions have massive networks. Okay, with those massive networks comes massive capital. So how much can they invest in the market, in the asset itself, right? And then once it gets into Bitcoin, then it goes into ETH and then trickles down into all the other layer ones and other protocols that are out there. So the big money is necessary, not just for Bitcoin, but for the entire market. And here's something interesting, okay? And it really changed my thinking. I was actually watching the Blockchain Futurists conference, since I didn't hear anything while I was live. And some solid, great content that's in there. So you haven't checked it out, definitely do so. But one individual, I believe he was from an institution called Ether Capital. And he was really talking about the barriers to financial institutions or large institutions coming into the space. And I never thought about really just looking at, governance, like who manages the wallet, right? For you and I, when we buy crypto or buy Bitcoin, you hold your private keys, you have your wallet, and you control it. You access it, you control it, you do as you please. But what happens when you have a large institution with, people who are funding that institution? That money is being then channeled into assets like Bitcoin. Who governs it all? You're not going to give all that control to one person, right? So, like, who's going to be designated as the authority behind that particular wallet? Who can sign it out, sign off on it, all that kind of stuff? And that really got me thinking. I never thought about that. There's a whole layer of system. Security is one aspect for sure, but there's a whole governance issue that I never realized, or at least didn't pay it any mind. And so we have a long way to go before institutions are happily jumping aboard. Now, there are certain institutions like, Dan Moorhead and Pantera Capital, and Dan Tapio and his 10T holdings. I'm not sure how they orchestrate it. I mean, they've done it so they can show it to other people. But that governance issue is a real problem. And until that is fully solved, it's going to take maybe longer than we want big institutions to come in. But to narrow it down to yes or no, do we need big money? Absolutely, we need big money, or smart money as they're known. We want them to come in. We want them to. We want more adoption. We want worldwide adoption. Right now, they're the key to making that happen. And with that network comes the amount of money into the market, which we'll start to see some of these price points that may seem far-fetched today. So I wanted to give my thoughts on that. Let me know what you think. Do we need institutional money in the crypto markets, and specifically into Bitcoin, or not? Remember, guys, tomorrow never comes. Take action, invest in yourself today, and I'll see you guys in the next video.